Welcome back to SEP, you app builders. This is Matt here. I'm going to make a little video tutorial on my app example snap project where we talk about adding a couple important components that we'll want to see on our AP portfolio, and that's some variables, some more variables, and some abstraction. And the reason why we do abstraction is to make our code more simple and easy to read and easy to debug. And we use variables to store information that can change. So I want to just focus on this when I am clicked function that we worked on last time. If you remember, in our app right now, we have an app with an empty list. The button says click me to start. And when we click on the button, it asks us what your name is. And when you enter it, it then stores that information as an item in the list. How old are you? You can type a number in. It'll do the same. And then what is your favorite color? It does the same thing. And then it regurgitates that information. It talks back to you. And it's kind of cool. All right, so a couple things we want to do to modify this, make it a little more slick, is we really want to store the name, age, and favorite color, or any other information in this initial greeting. We want to store those in variables, not just add answer to info and place them in a list. We want them to actually be variables that we can recall at other times. Because if the app is going to call us by name in any other functions, we don't want it to reach into this list where it could go missing. We want it to be stored in a variable. So how do we do that? You can either add a script variable, or you can make a variable as in a global variable that the entire app can access, even if you have different sprites. So for something like the name and how we greet people, their age, and basic things in the beginning, we probably want those to be global variables. So we'll make it for all sprites. And let's just call this one name. We'll make one for age. And asking the user what their favorite color is just a sample question. So this is just another sample variable, but let's pretend maybe my app is about colors and I always want to know what the user's favorite color is. So I made these three variables. Here they are. I don't need to see them here. So I will uncheck age, color, and name. I want my list to show up because I'm going to be working on it and I want to see it working. So now the way we're going to modify this is we are going to use the set block a number of times. So instead of just adding answer to info, it seems like it's going to be a little more complicated, but this will help us in the long run. We want to set our name. When we ask what's your name and wait, let's just look at that part. We want to add answer to info. Well, we want to set the name to the answer of that question. And then we'll add name to info. We'll get the same result, but then we'll have this stored as a variable as well as just an item in a list, which is a little more shaky than storing it as a global variable. It's a better practice. So we've done the first one already. Let's do the same thing to the second one. How old are you? Well, we're going to set age to the answer for that question, and then we're going to add age to info. And finally, the last one, we're going to set color, favorite color, to the answer and add color to info. So now let's check it, just make sure it works. Actually, I want to stop this and reload so this disappears. Click me to start. We click. Name is Matt. How old are you? I'm 500 years old. Favorite color is green. And you can see the same result happened. I got my items added to the list. But now if I show these variables, name, Matt, age, 500, color, green, they're stored in these variables, which is what I want. We're going to want that to happen later on. All right. So the next thing we want to do is, now that we've created this greeting, you may have like 6 more questions in here, and that's fine. It depends on how much information you want to grab from your user to create your app. And you just use the same formula. But we can do, oh, I forgot to do this broadcast greetings part. That's why I didn't say the information back to us. So what we can do, we can abstract this entire algorithm here by creating a new block. And let's see, what should we call it? If I just click make a block here, or if I go, it's a command. It depends. You don't have to put it in a specific menu, but let's just make it a motion command just for the heck of it, because it's easy. It could be looks because this is where the say block is, but I'm going to do motion. And we will just click make a block, and it's a command, and we'll call, this is like the initial data collection, so maybe we can call this collect info, and I'm calling it that, one word. Okay, and what we'll do is the collect info block does all of this stuff here. You could put broadcast greeting in there too. There's no reason not to, really. But this is the algorithm that collects the info specifically. So we hit apply, okay, and now collect info shows up down here. We can place it here and broadcast greetings. And now we've abstracted this code. Check it to see if it still works. And it looks like it does. And now it's going to say it back to me. Yep. And now this is abstracted, and this is an example of abstraction. We've taken this algorithm and we turned it into a one-word block that's easy to read. We know that that's what this block does, and our code overall is easier to read as well. Now you can abstract any number of algorithms to make things easier on yourself simply by making a block and placing a bunch of blocks that do a certain thing into one block. So use that strategy. This is an example of using that strategy, and you're going to want to have this in several, at least one place in your final app, if not in more than one place when you go to turn this in. All right, that's it for today. Variables and abstraction. And feel free to just continue coding and trying to make your app work and customizing it, and use this time to work on your project. All right, see ya.